before we proceed, yesterday at the end of the meeting, it was clear that there was an undertaking by the witness to provide documents before 9 a.m. this morning. Mr. Firth had committed to provide us names of who he negotiated with CBSA to write his own contract and the names of government officials who provided the glowing endorsements on his website that he had first undertaken to provide the committee 16 months ago. I'm wondering if you can update the committee on what's been received and when that'll be circulated.
Yes, I've received maybe about 1/3, 25% of the promised information. The clerk has received it. It is going to translation. So hopefully perhaps tomorrow or the day after. The balance of the information promised by 9 a.m. has not. We have a promise from Mr. Firth that the balance will be sent at another email or a separate email, but we haven't released or received it yet. When we do, it will be translated and forwarded to the committee. And actually, on that point, I want to bring up just something I promised to get back to the committee yesterday. It was regarding questions put toward the previous witness that were not answered. I want to read just kind of a note directly from our law clerk. Quote, I understand one of the reasons given by the witness for not providing certain answers was that the matter was potentially related to an RCMP investigation. It is up to the committee to decide whether a question should be put to the witness and whether the potential for an actual police investigation is sufficient reason for not answering the question. It's ultimately up to the committee to decide. As mentioned in the House of Commons procedure and practice, a committee can report to the House a situation where a witness refuses to answer its question. So basically, it is up to the committee to decide whether that is a relevant reason not to answer and not for anyone else.
So just Chair, on that, if I may, so information that was asked to the witness yesterday, you know, for example, the testimonials, who provided those testimonials, are you able to tell us if that information has been furnished, even if you can't circulate it?
No, I can't provide this specific information because it hasn't been translated yet.
So you're not able to tell us who was at the table?
Let me double check with the clerk, but I don't think
GC Strategies negotiated their own contract? You can't.
Yeah, I can't release specifics, just that probably about 75% of it has not been received yet.
Understood.
Okay. We are going to go ahead. If you're finished, Mr. Barrett. Mr. Anthony, I will give you the floor for about 5 minutes for your opening statement, please, sir. Go ahead.
This is my second time before the committee, and as you are aware, I've been compelled to testify here today. However, I have always been willing to answer questions from the committee. I understand I have been called to appear to answer questions pertaining to the ArriveCAN study.
6 minutes. Go ahead, Mr. Barrett.
Sir, I see that you're in the same lawyer's boardroom as your partner was yesterday. You're with the same legal counsel, is that correct?
Correct.
Are you able to ask your lawyer at what time Mr. Firth will fulfill his promise to this committee to have tabled 100% of the information that we requested by 9 a.m., a time that he agreed to? Can you tell us, maybe confer with your lawyer and get us that answer?
I'm not going to discuss my discussions with my lawyer.
At what time will the information that has been requested by a partner of your company be furnished to this committee?
I'm not aware. I don't know.
You don't know. Well, some of that information was requested 16 months ago, and there was an undertaking made then. And yesterday, I told your partner I didn't believe him that he would provide it this morning, and he said that that was, you know, of course he'd provide it. That wasn't the case, but he proved me right. Your partner yesterday also said that everybody was lying, except for him and you. Said that the Auditor General was lying, the Procurement Ombudsman, the Globe and Mail, the National Post, even the CBC, Global News, All of us. So he offered no proof to that effect. And while we did offer proof that he lied to this committee, like I just did, in terms of proof by your partner not having furnished this committee with the evidence that he undertook to by 9 a.m., do you agree with Mr. Firth that the Auditor General's report is incorrect?
I would refer to his testimony in regards to the numbers that we were able to supply to the Auditor General.
So was the Auditor General's report correct or incorrect in your assessment?
Incorrect.
So the Auditor General of Canada is wrong, and you are right. That's your contention today.
Yes.
If you had the opportunity to see the testimony of your partner yesterday, you'd see why I find that incredibly hard to believe. Because, frankly, it hasn't been credible, your company's testimony to our committee. Last week, government officials announced that files concerning your company, GC Strategies' role and involvement in Justin Trudeau's $60 million Arrive scam have been sent to the RCMP. Now, you've said that your role is a security expert for the company. Which information do you think was sent to the RCMP? Would it be information about forged resumes by your company, involvement in bait and switch procurement, as outlined by the procurement ombudsman, or bid rigging? What's the information that you believe has been forwarded to the RCMP?
I have no idea.
Your partner, Mr. Firth, refused to say who provided testimonials on your website 16 months ago and has failed to provide them this morning. Is your testimony this morning that you are also unaware who provided the testimonials on your website?
Yes, I am unaware of who provided the testimonies.
So you don't know who the Chief Information Officer was of Canada who provided. There's only 6 quotes on your website, and you're saying that you don't know who the Chief Data Officer for the public sector was who provided that.
Yes, that's correct.
You're saying you don't know who the Chief Data Officer for Canada was who provided an endorsement of your company on your website.
Yes, that's correct.
You're saying that the vice president of a major crown corporation, who that individual is a mystery to you.
That's correct.
And the senior executive from the government of Canada, you don't know who that was.
That's correct.
So though your partner appeared at this committee 16 months ago and was asked that very same question, it didn't raise any curiosity in you, and it never came up in conversation. Will you say today that you never discussed that committee appearance and the questions that were asked with your partner? Is that your testimony today under oath?
Can you clarify the question on what? Can you actually clarify the question for me?
The question is, when your partner came here 16 months ago and was asked that question and said he was going to come back and provide the information to the committee and appeared before a parliamentary committee, and I would say it didn't go very well. Is your testimony today that you and he didn't discuss the information that he said he was going to provide back to the committee?
We discuss files and contracts generally, but not specifics.
Are the endorsements on your website fake, like the resumes that were provided in order to win government contracts?
I have no idea.
It seems, sir, that this is just part of the scam that's being perpetrated by your company on the government of Canada and Canadian taxpayers. We'll have more questions for you.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Mr. Bachrach, Mr. Brock, go ahead, please, for 5.
Thank you, Chair. Like my NDP colleague, sir, I'm completely astonished of your complete lack of preparation for this committee hearing. You start off in your opening statement talking about how you and Mr. Firth have been wrongly portrayed in media, newsprint, committee hearings, MP, word on the street. You talk about the financial stresses, the emotional stresses, and you don't have any concrete answer to clearly relevant questions. You very proudly stated that you stand behind the words of your partner, Mr. Firth, that the Auditor General's report was completely inaccurate. How on earth could you have prepared any less for this hearing by not taking 20 minutes to read the actual report? I find it absolutely astonishing, sir, and quite frankly, it reflects very poorly on your credibility. So I want to ask you some questions for clarification. Are you in a partnership with Firth, or are you a director in a company registered either through the Canada Corporations Act or the Ontario Corporations Act? What is it?
We are partners.
Do you have a partnership agreement? Yes or no?
Just can I confirm with my lawyer for 1 second, please?
Yep, go ahead, just mute yourself.
Sorry. We are a corporation, and I am a shareholder for that corporation.
So you're not in a partnership. You may refer to yourself as partners, but you don't have a legal partnership agreement, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So you are a director, and you didn't understand that directors have joint and several liability, meaning that you're both responsible for consequences of the acts of directors. You're aware of that now, sir?
I don't believe that to be true.
Okay. Well, you can check with your lawyer on that. Mr. Firth has put it out there in real evidence that he has committed, not on one occasion, but on multiple occasions, acts of forgery that would be defined as a criminal act under the Criminal Code of Canada. He claims it was a mistake. And as a former prosecutor, pretty much every single accused that I dealt with in the last 20 plus years always claimed they made mistakes. You understand, sir, ignorance of the law is no excuse. You understand that?
Sure.
So if Mr. Firth was willing to do that, but I'm talking about the Bottler complaint, on at least 4 or 5 occasions, without consulting, without getting approval, without getting clearance from Bottler to change the actual resume to ensure they received a contract, it really begs the question, how many times has your 50-50 partner, director, Mr. Firth, done that on other contracts? Do you have an answer to that?
I don't have any knowledge of that.
No, because what he does is up to him and what you do is up to you, correct? Is that your understanding?
Yes.
I see. Now, who was responsible for your web design on your website that probably fraudulently identifies several key government employees boasting about the value of your company? Who was responsible for creating this web design?
I'm not sure. I believe that we did hire out someone to build our website for us in 2015.
Okay. Who was the company?
I don't have that information in front of me right now.
You'll supply the information to us?
Yeah, I can check my records.
Okay. And in addition to Mr. Barrett's questions to you, you will also provide to me I'm going to give you 7 days to do this, sir, the names of all the government employees that are referenced in your website boasting about your particular company. You'll do that because you didn't have the answer as to who they were, but in 7 days you'll provide me with that information, won't you?
I can try and find that information for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Mr. Baines, please, for 5, go ahead.